think it's time to crack open a beer in Premodern. Hello and welcome back, and today I am playing a beloved archetype in Premodern with a twist. This is Deadguy Ale in Premodern. Now, Deadguy Ale is a black-white based mid-range deck that's looking to disrupt your opponent with removal and discard, stick a couple of decently sized efficient threats, and then close out the game while preventing your opponent from doing much. This does have a lot of that disruptive element to it in the form of discard and removal, but this is taking a much more aggressive twist than traditional Deadguy Ale while leaning into a soldier sub theme, playing cheap, evasive soldiers that synergize with the shadow mechanic. Now, shadow's not a super common mechanic anymore. If you're familiar with Legacy, you might recognize it from Dauthi Voidwalker, but it works as essentially unblockable in most situations. So what this deck is trying to do is flood the board with cheap creatures with shadow that all synergize with each other, such as Soltari Trooper, which can pump itself, Soltari Champion, which pumps all your other attacking creatures +1/+1, and Dauthi Warlord, which power is equal to the number of creatures with shadow you control. So what we're trying to do is play early disruptive and early removal alongside these cheap, evasive threats to overrun your opponent as quickly as possible while making them falter. So this is a much faster, more aggro-oriented build of Deadguy Ale than traditional Deadguy Ale is. Also, by having all of our creatures be soldier, we can also make them even bigger to increase our clock with Shared Triumph, which is basically just a tribal anthem effect. So, in essence, we're basically doing just a much faster version of Deadguy Ale. For our removal suite, we have Classic Swords to Plowshares, Vindicate to blow pretty much anything up, and Death Grasp to help us gain a little bit of life back because our mana base is pretty painful, which is common in Premodern. It's a pretty standard Premodern Orzhov mana base. You've got your Caves of Koilos, your City of Brasses, a whole bunch of basics, and some Tainted Fields to be able to round your colors out. For disruption, we also have Duresses to strip our opponent's hand. So we're trying to take a few key cards out of their hand, kill a few of their key creatures, and just overrun them with a bunch of small creatures that are cheap that they probably can't block, and that all synergize with each other and turn into much bigger threats the more of them that you have on the battlefield. Rounding out the sideboard here, again, looks like pretty typical for an Orzhov-based Premodern deck. You've got Engineered Plague to be able to take down opposing tribal decks, another Duress for some more discard, another Smother for some additional removal, Phyrexian Furnace and Tormod's Crypt to take down graveyard decks, Disenchant for artifact and enchantment-based decks, Wrath to be able to gain life up against red deck wins. You've got a couple of Armageddons to be able to blow up all the lands from an opponent's ramp deck. And the fact that all your creatures are so cheap and your curve maxes out at 3, we can rebuild from blowing up lands much faster than many of our opponents will. And then against any kind of deck that is not going to be super heavy on creature removal, we can essentially make the game unwinnable for them with Worship. And with how cheap our creatures are, we should be able to flood the board pretty easily. So let's see if I can get out of my comfort zone, play something not combo oriented, and take this pretty cool twist on Deadguy Ale that I found on a MTG top 8 tournament and see how it does in the Premodern meta. If you like this video, do me a favor, drop a like and a comment below, and please sub to the channel to know when my videos are going live. With that all being said, I'll catch you all in the wrap up. Alright, lost the die roll. Cannot keep a one-lander here. We gotta ship this one. Okay, I guess we're on Troopertron. We're gonna go ahead and keep this, and I think we're actually gonna put back one of the Troopers. I'd like to keep the Emissary so I have something to block with if I absolutely need to. Mana base is a little painful, but force from the opponent into Hidden Herd. When an opponent plays a non-basic land, if this permanent is an enchantment, it becomes a 3/3 beast. Okay, interesting. I cannot say I've ever seen that card before. And we have a Soltari Champion. Well, we will play a Swamp for now to stop the opponent from getting a 3/3 beast. Another force from the opponent. Okay, so it looks like Enchantress. Unfortunately, I don't really have a good way to deal with any of that at the moment. So we're gonna play Quetzalcoatlos. They're gonna get their dude. I don't know if this is just until end of turn. It sounds like it's a permanent thing. But we will start out with a trooper and go from there. See if we can just overrun our opponent with our shadow synergies. We can go ahead and F6 through the turn. It's not like we got anything. Our colors are obvious. A second Argothian Enchantress into a Serra Sanctum. I think we're about to just get run the fuck over here. But it's only white mana, so I don't know what else they got going on. We hit another Soltari champion, so we're just going to keep trying to stack up our synergies and overrun our opponent and hope that they don't really got shit going on over there. Luckily, our clock very quickly outraces theirs. So get in with the trooper, hit them for 2. Now they got access to their green mana again. Argothian Enchantress number 3. Okay, they're going to be able to draw a lot of cards here if they ever start playing other things. Luckily, they seem to be restricted on some sort of mana. Okay, we have an answer for the Hidden Herd then. With that said, let's go ahead and play out another trooper. We are going to hold on to our Swords to Plowshares to take out their Hidden Herd if we need to. And now we start getting some pump synergies here. However, I'm very scared of our opponent just absolutely popping off here. Seal of Strength, sacrifice this. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Okay. Is their goal to just go in as hard as possible on a Hidden Herd? We have done quite a bit of damage to ourselves with our mana base, though. Briar Shield. Another pump spell. Okay. Words of Wilding. The next time you draw a card this turn, create a 2/2 bear token instead. Okay. I would like to see them pop their Seal of Strength on this Hidden Herd. Alright, they're getting in. No blocks. Are they going to pop this Seal of Strength? They are going to do this. So we are going to go ahead and kill this. They gain back a little bit of life. They can gain back some more if they want to pop their Seal of Strength as well. They do not. They can't always pop this on one of their Argothian Enchantresses. These don't have Defender. And we have just got to hope that we can kind of go crazy. We hit a Tainted Field, so we can go ahead and play another one of these without hurting ourselves. And then we can get in. I think if we can survive one more turn, we can win this. Because this is a swing in for half of their life total. So if we can get around the table one more time, I think we can win. And these bears don't have haste. They can't block because all of our stuff has shadow. I have no idea if they've got a board wipe of some sort, which would be absolutely horrendous for us. Wild Growth. Okay. I mean, we're just going to F6 through the turn. Once they move to combat, we'll take the yields off. Another Seal of Strength. Okay, that's 2 Seal of Strengths. Another Hidden Herd. They theoretically could chain enough of these together to kill us with an Enchantress. Exploration. Luckily, it seems like green mana is the limiting factor here. Another Seal of Strength. That can put us to 1. And they didn't get there. Okay. Managing to squeak it out against Enchantress. We are going to go ahead and bring in Engineered Plague. I feel like they're not going to have a ton of removal. I feel like Worship is probably going to be really good against them. Bring in Disenchant. And there's something to be said about possibly bringing in another Duress. Against what our opponent's doing, though, a lot of our targeted removal is not going to be very good here. We can probably take out Death Grasp, trim Phyrexian Altar. Maybe the Engineer Plagues are a little too cute, but putting them on human shuts down all of their Argothian Enchantresses. And we still do want some targeted removal to be able to go after their enchantment creatures, so I kind of want to keep the Vindicates and the Swords to Plowshares in. Soltari Emissary can block, which I like. Maybe, like I said, maybe 3 Engineered Plagues is a bit much. Everything else we could take out. Maybe we just trim some of our Soltari. Like, maybe trim some of the Dothy Slayers. And trim 1 Soltari champion. Just trim a little on the high end here. And, I mean, let's try this, see how it goes. If we go to game 3, we'll sideboard accordingly. Yet another 1-lander, but we've got some discard. But I've been burned by keeping 1-landers a few too many times before with this deck when I was testing it. So I think we're just going to go ahead and ship this. Yeah, we can go ahead and keep this. And I think We're gonna get rid of the trooper for now. And they've got their hidden herd. So we could wait until we have enough to blow that up. But I kind of want to get City of Brass down. They can turn that on and then we can just disenchant it. So yeah, we're just going to get this down. We'll let them get in for a swack here. Mishra's Factory, okay. Alright, so it's the same sort of thing, but it goes back and forth? Okay. Well, that is interesting. These are kind of cool enchantment creature things. Well, we're going to have a bunch of ways to kill stuff here. And we're going to go ahead... Why? Oh, they lose their enchantment creature type? Really? Okay, I figured they keep the enchantment type. That is surprising. Okay. Well, we'll pass the turn. I should have played the Shared Triumph. I didn't realize they lost the enchantment type. That's an interesting old mechanic, apparently. However, they're incentivized not to do anything. Playing a Seal of Strength, okay. Well, we're just gonna go ahead and blow some stuff up here, but we're probably just dead. If we can survive another turn, we can worship. Well, we're gonna blow this up. And if we can survive one more turn, hit a land, we can drop worship, and then it doesn't seem like they really have much in terms of removal. And then we can just hide behind the worship forever. However, if they have another seal... Okay, they just have another Seal of Strength. Okay, so I did not know that these lost their enchantment type. So that's good to know. That being said, I think maybe we bring the Smother in, trim one more Plague, and let's try that. Alright, let's see what we got here. A one-lander that doesn't produce any colored mana. Gotta ship it. Okay, I like this. We'll go ahead and keep this. Bin one of the emissaries. And we will start off with the Tainted Field, so that we get the non-basic land out of the way first in case they start out with another one of those hidden herds. Forest into hidden herd. Okay. We had another Source of Plowshares. We'll play a swamp so that it turns on our Tainted Field. Play a Sultari Emissary. And then next turn we can play the Shared Triumph and hold up Source of Plowshares. A Seal of Strength, that's fine. And a Hidden Gibbons. Okay. So they're all on the enchantments that turn into creatures plans here. Luckily we have a bunch of removals, so we don't actually, like, care about that per se. So we'll play Shared Triumph, name Soldier, and then we will get in, and then we'll just kind of sit back for a bit. Like, we just won't play this Caves of Koilos unless we absolutely have to. As long as we don't cast an instant, like Hidden Gibbons is whatever. Ooh, they have a Naturalize. Okay. Decreases our clock a little bit. That's fine. They don't have a card draw engine online, and we can prevent them from getting creatures here. We could wipe their whole board here if we wanted to, because we could blow up the hit. I mean, there's no point in doing it yet. We can do all of this at instant speed. So we'll just get in with the Sultari Emissary for now. We can also make this Emissary unblockable. A second Mishra's Factory. And a Verduian Enchantress. Okay. So it's another creature Enchantress. Interesting. And we hit a Sultari Trooper, so let's just play another Trooper. And then I'm assuming they're not going to want to block here. Ooh, they're actually going to block? Okay. Preserving their life total, that's fine. That gets their card draw out. We can actually go ahead and just kill this now. Like, it'll turn on their Hidden Gibbons, but I don't really care about that, because I can just kill that as well. Do I want to turn on this Hidden Herd, though, is the question. I think I'll wait. I can take a hit for 4. That's totally fine. Because what I can actually do is I can go ahead and disenchant their Hidden Herd. Briar Shield. +1/+1. Okay. So they're going to be able to pump this a bit here. We can take a pretty big schwack, but then we can just kill it. And then they're basically out of stuff to do here. Okay, this is all still fine. Because we can also just hold back our Trooper on defense to block these Mishra's Factories. And they've got one card in hand. Are they going to do the popping? Yes, they are. So we're going to take a large schwack here, which is honestly fine. Spreading out the damage. That is totally fine. And what we are going to do here is we are going to disenchant the Hidden Herd. Play a Caves of Koilos. Get rid of your Hidden Gibbons. And then we are going to swing with our Sultari. Oh, shit. I swung with the wrong one. Oops. Okay. Well, they've got 2 cards left. If they've got 2 of those, whatchamacallits here, then I guess we kind of fucked up. But, okay. Some kind of snapping turtle that has Shroud as long as you have no untapped lands. And they're going to turn on a Mishra's Factory to attack. Okay. I actually meant to hold back and block there. Okay. Well, we can do this. Move to combat, declare attackers, hit in with the trooper. I would like to hit some more removal. A 3rd Mishra's Factory, okay. Alright, unfortunately, this can pump the other one. Turning on 2 Mishra's Factories, okay. And a Seal of Strength, +3, that's 5, that's 7. Yeah, that's death. My punt attack cost us that game, but okay. Interesting take on Enchantress. On to the next one. Alright, won the die roll. Let's go. The Tainted Field's a little awkward that it doesn't actually produce colored mana yet, but I think we're going to keep this. We still have access to both of our colors and can play basically everything other than the Soothsayer, the Dauthi Slayer. So I'm going to start off with a Foot Soldier here. Just get my aggro on. Hope our opponent's not on some kind of combo deck. Bloodstain Mire for the opponent, instantly cracking it. Into a mountain, into Mog Fanatic, so I'm guessing this is Burn. A Sultari Champion, that doesn't really do anything for us here. I am going to incentivize them to pop this Mog Fanatic at the Dauthi Warlord. I would love a swamp so that I turn on all my colors. Oh, they popped it at the Foot Soldier, interesting, okay. Another mountain, into a Grim Lavamancer, into a Jackal Pup, okay. Yeah, this is definitely Burn, or Sligh, or whatever you want to call it. A Sultari Emissary. Well, we'll drop a Trooper. This feels like an extremely hard matchup in general. They have so much removal, and our mana base does so much damage to us. Like, from my experience testing this, I would honestly say this match is borderline unwinnable. Goblin Patrol. And they see, yeah, like this shit. Like, they can literally wipe my entire fucking board right now. But they're choosing not to. Okay. Into a Death Grasp, which doesn't actually do anything. Let's see what's going on over there. We're about to lose our whole board anyways. Another Seal of Fire. Yeah, we're just dead. We're going to go to the next one. Like I said, honestly, this matchup feels damn near unwinnable. Especially game 1. We want to bring in the warmths. And beyond that, there's really not a whole lot we want here. I think we take out the Phyrexian Arena. And we probably take out one of the Foot Soldiers. And just really hope for an early warmth that can get us across the finish line. And at least mitigate the damage we're going to be taking. Alright, let's see. 2 lands and a warmth in our opener. That is 2 lands and a warmth. That's exactly what we asked for. We've got a little bit of removal while we're at it. Alright, let's see what their turn 1 play is gonna be. Lightning Bolt, a bunch of Mog Fanatics, and a Jackal Pup. Okay, so Lightning Bolt's the only take anyways, but I kind of like to just hit a couple of lands in a row here. Playing the Wooded Foothills, cracking it. Are they gonna Mog Fanatic or Jackal Pup to start? Gonna Jackal Pup to start. Okay. A Dauthi Warlord isn't exactly what I'm going for at the moment. Like I said, I would like some mana to be able to start dumping out other stuff here. Bloodstain Mire from the opponent. Probably going to play out both Mog Fanatics if I had to take a guess here. No, a Grim Lavamancer. Okay. That is something good to point this Death Grasp at if they end up, or if we hit a land. Again, I'd like a swamp so I have some non-painful colored mana. A Vindicate that I can't do anything with at the moment. Well, we're going to start off with this and see how they want to go. See if they want to redirect this Grim Lavamancer at our creature. Play to mountain. They still haven't run out either of their Mog Fanatics yet. Okay, they are swinging in with the Grim Lavamancer. Alright, Mog Fanatic undoes the Jackal Pup attack at least. Land? Swords to Plowshares. I mean, that's good at least. We are going to go ahead and swords this bad boy. Get rid of the repeatable damage at least. And then get in with the Warlord. Like, if we can just run them out of creatures, I think we have a shot. But we need some lands. Alright, they're playing the other Mog Fanatic, so that at least undoes some of the damage we're going to get this turn. We are not hitting what we want to hit at all right now. And we are doing a ton of damage to ourselves. Granted, if we can get these Mog Fanatics to go at our... Okay. So at least they are directing their Mog Fanatics at our creatures. And that's buying us some time. Like I said, I need some freaking mana here. I need a swamp specifically. Okay, we're just not going to hit any mana, is what I'm learning here. Like, we're a 21 land deck. We shouldn't be getting mana screwed so easily. If they sack the Mog Fanatic at the Trooper, 2 mana, I'm assuming an Incinerate, going after the Emissary. Okay. At least that's a burn spell not directed at her face. That is, but that's only dealing 1 damage total. And they're just unloading their hand. Okay. So we have a shot, is what I'm hearing here. Like I said, we just need some mana to be able to actually do stuff. Okay, they just hit a land. That's good. Land? Okay, there we go. We actually get to turn our stuff on here, and we're going to kill the Jackal Pup. Gain a little life back here. Get rid of the Jackal Pup. And this deals damage to our opponent, too. And hopefully this lets us turn the corner. Because we also have a Vindicate to be able to blow up this Mog Fanatic. And we can start playing our Dauthi Slayers. But I think we need to get the Mog Fanatic off of the battlefield here. Because there is a world where they can just keep hitting us and then eventually pop the Mog Fanatic to kill us for the last point of damage. So I think we do need to just kill the Mog Fanatic, get that off of the battlefield and done with. A Sultari Champion, well, they're just going to sack this in response, but we need to get it off of the battlefield. Alright, they're going after our creature. That's actually totally fine here. And now we just start slamming Dauthi Slayers. Another Mog Fanatic. Gained us a little bit of life. That's good. Another Warmth would be pretty sweet, too. A Dauthi Warlord. I think we're going to start out with that. Because if we hit another land, we can play both of our Dauthi Slayers. And that incentivizes them to throw this Mog Fanatic at our Warlord. Mog Conscripts. Can't attack unless you cast a creature spell. Okay. And a Jinxed Idol. Interesting. So they sacrifice a creature and we take that? That is interesting tech. Okay, killing our 1 creature. And they're going to give it to us. Well, we can give it back to them. And we hit a City of Brass, which unfortunately is a little painful. But we can give this right back to them. And we will go ahead and just give it back to them right off of the bat. And hope that they just don't find creatures. Alright, man. What? Wait, what? Our opponent lost connection to the game? I think they scooped the whole match to that. Okay. I didn't think we were exactly winning, but... Yeah, we were just going to flood out into a bunch of lands from there, so they definitely could have been still in it, but, I mean... I guess that's the match. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, won the die roll. No lands, gotta ship it. 1 lander, and a bunch of 3-drops. Gotta ship this one too. Okay, we've actually got mana. What do we want to put back? Probably the champion. And maybe a land. I think we're going to put back champion, City of Brass for right now. And we're going to start off on a swamp, so we can't get wastelanded off of one of our only 2 lands. And a Windswept Heath from the opponent. Okay. No turn 1 play. I don't hate that at all. We hit a swamp, so we're getting our mana under us, which is good. We're going to start off with the Trooper. I don't think we need to worry about blocking on turn 1 yet. Unless they randomly have a haste creature I'm just not thinking of. But they did not crack the Windswept Heath at end of turn. Now they are cracking the Windswept Heath. Okay. I will say, these Modern Horizons 3 special arts for Windswept Heath, or all the fetches actually, are really pretty. A Forest or another Windswept Heath from the opponent, instantly cracking it. Forest Plains. Oath of Druids. Okay. Well, I would love a Vindicate right here and now. That is a Plains. There is a world where we swing... Well, no, we'd have to kill the Sultari Trooper first. I think our best bet here is to just try to kill our opponent as quickly as possible. And hope that we draw our removal for our opponent's creatures to get off of this Oath of Druids. Like, I was thinking there is a world where we could get in, attack with the Sultari Trooper, and then kill it with the Death Grasp, but since it gets the pump, we actually can't. But I guess we'll just have to see what is in their Oath of Druids package and hope that we find removal spells for both Oath of Druids and their creatures. I'm gonna guess it's that, oh no, it's a Terravor. Okay, so it's only a 2/2 at the moment, which that's actually pretty good for us. So there's some kind of like standstill Oath of Druids deck. Interesting. Well, the nice part is we can kill the Terravor. They didn't actually mill any lands to make it bigger. And a Treetop Village from the opponent into a Sylvan Library. Okay. Well, we can kill the Terravor. And we hit a Dauthi Slayer. I think we're going to go ahead and just take our chance to kill the Terravor now. Gain a little bit of extra life. And then move to combat and attack. And hope that we can just hit our opponent down fast enough that we can survive a few more Oath triggers. If all they are Terravors, hopefully they don't just hit a shitload of lands off of these and they become giant, or we just find our Vindicates. Another Terravor that's a little bit bigger, but it's still not huge. Luckily, a lot of their creatures have been on the top of the deck so far. Alright, opponent did not keep any additional lands. They might just be turning on their Treetop Village here. No, 3 mana. No, undoing what they're doing. Looks like they're getting in first. Oh, did not even bother to attack. Okay. And a Dauthi Warlord. Well, we will play the Dauthi Warlord. We are basically just going to try to kill them as quickly as we possibly can here. I could have played both of these creatures this turn, but I want to make sure that I can make Soltari Emissary attack. And then we will pass the turn here. Hopefully they don't mill 20 lands before they hit another Terravor. They're at 8. Come on, another creature. Top card of the deck. It was the top card of their deck. Oh no, okay. They did mill a land. There's 1 Terravor left in the deck. They can swing for 4. Again, a Vindicate to be able to blow up this Oath of Druids would be great. If we can actually hit a Death Grasp, we might be able to kill them. Alright, opponent did not keep any additional lands. Or additional cards. A Wasteland that can take out our Caves of Koilos. That's mostly fine. 3 mana is kind of the sweet spot. However, that does make these 6/6s. Okay, that is the last Terravor. So we need to blow up the Oath of Druids is basically what this comes down to. We hit a City of Brass. Well, we'll play the Dauthi Slayer. I don't think this is enough. This is going to mill their whole deck. And they're probably going to kill us here. Actually, this is exactly lethal. Just realized that. Because with the pump here, that goes to a 2/2. This is a 4/4. This is 8 damage exactly. And they can't block any of it. Holy shit, we snuck that one out. Okay, so up against Terravor Oath. With that being said, let's bring in Tormod's Crypt. Let's bring in Smother. Let's bring in Disenchants. I'm going to guess they don't have much in terms of removal, so I think Worship's probably going to be pretty good here. Things to take out. Unfortunately for Phyrexian Arena, they're only going to have 4 creatures, so I feel like our Swords to Plowshares are going to be pretty good here. Death Grip seems kind of slow and probably isn't going to hit most of their Terravors. So we can probably take 2 of those out and maybe take out 2 of the Dauthi Slayers. And let's try that. Alright, so we got a bunch of mana and some creatures. I think we're going to go ahead and try to keep this. We can kind of try to bide our time and then just slam all of our creatures at once while preventing our opponent from being able to get Oath triggers. Mox Diamond, okay. Pitching a Gemstone Mine into a forest. Is this a turn 1 Oath? No, it's a turn 1 Standstill. Okay. I'm not going to be casting much for the first couple of turns anyway, so I don't really care about that. Treetop Village. Okay, so they have a clock now. We hit a Swords to Plowshares. Well, we'll play the Swamp and pass. We will kill their creature and give them some extra cards if we need to. Activating their Treetop Village. We are going to go ahead and just kill this. We'll let them get their cards now. We don't super duper care about that at the moment. We're going to try to wait until we can basically just slam all of our creatures at once and then swing out. So if they get an Oath trigger, I don't really care. Treva's Ruins, the Bant Lair. Okay. Another Mox Diamond. Pitching the Forest they just picked up. And a Sylvan Library. Okay. A Soltari Trooper. Do I want to start trying to run stuff out yet? I don't think so. I think we're still just going to hold the line here. I don't think Exotic Orchard is legal in this format, so I'm not sure if there's a way that they can give us creatures for Oath. Kept a card. Okay. Ooh, kept 2 cards. Okay. Another Mox Diamond. This would be a very bad Armageddon for us, because they'd still keep 3 mana at the end of all of it. But again, they don't really have anything going on over there, so I don't think I particularly care at the moment. Another Standstill. That's fine. They don't have any creature lands to be able to do anything with, so we're just going to keep hitting land drops. We hit a Vindicate. We will play City of Brass. And then I think we're just going to pass the turn. We could blow up the Sylvan Library, but I'm not sure if we want to yet. See how greedy they get with this, if they keep any extra cards. Did not keep any extra cards. Okay. A Gemstone Mire. As long as we're just playing draw go, I think this favors us at the moment. We hit a Caves of Koilos, so we can play that. Do we want to pop this Standstill yet is the question. I think we're at the point where we do. We will pop the Standstill, let them draw some cards. I think we're at the point where if they play a Oath of Druids, we have to Vindicate to be able to kill it. Does our opponent have counter magic? They do. Okay. Like I said, we do have a Vindicate to blow up a Oath of Druids if they have one. We just gotta hope that they don't have more counter magic on top of it. Didn't keep any extra cards. There is the Oath of Druids. Okay. Tap down a little further, please. Is this a second Oath of Druids? Yes. Double Oath of Druids. And we hit a Dothy Slayer. I think we're just gonna try to go wide here and kill their creatures. We will play the Dothy Trooper. Save our life total a little bit here. And we're just gonna try to out-aggro our opponent. We have a Vindicate to try to kill at least one of their Terravores. We'll see how big the second one is. They have a Source of Plowshares? They do. Okay. How many Terravores do they have in their hand? Please have 2 of them. They have... Okay, so they hit 1 Terravore that is a 7/7. They hit 1 Terravore. Okay, they've got 2 10/10s. We can kill one of them. There is a Wasteland, so they can take out one of our lands. Alright, check out the City of Brass. Their Terravores are 12/12s. Passing the turn. We hit a Dothy Warlord. Well, we're going to try to blow up one of the Terravores. If they have a counterspell, we're just dead. And it looks like they do. Yep, Mana Leak. Okay. They got us that time. We probably should have just waited a bit longer, but it is what it is. Being on the play will definitely help us out quite a bit. I don't think we actually want to change anything. Alright, just looked it up. Terravore is actually a 3-mana creature. So we're going to actually bring in the Smother. And I think we're going to take out 1 Foot Soldier and try that. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we're going to bring in the Phyrexian Arena and get rid of another Foot Soldier and try that. Alright, let's see here. No colored mana. Otherwise, this hand would be great. We gotta ship this. Do we trust in drawing mana? We have a bunch of removal. I think we're gonna keep this. And we're gonna put the champion to the bottom and trust that we draw mana. It's a little risky keeping a 1-lander with this deck, but we'll start out with Caves of Koilos and pass the turn. Mox Diamond from the opponent. Chucked a Gemstone Mine. Into a Wasteland. Okay. Into a Sylvan Library right off of the bat. Okay. City of Brass. We'll go ahead and play that. We'll see what they want to do. I actually think we're going to go ahead and play this Shared Triumph out right now. Just get it out of the way. Name Soldier. Pass the turn. Alright, opponent resolves their library trigger. Doesn't keep any extra cards. Blows up my City of Brass. Okay, so they're just on the mana denial plan. Which is fine. We're not really doing anything for a while anyway, so... And we hit a Duress and we'll pass the turn. About every 3rd card in our deck is a land, so... Into a Treetop Village. If we ever find a land, we have an answer for that at least. Well, we hit a Swamp, so let's Duress our opponent, see what's going on over there. Sylvan Library, Oath of Druids, Mana Leak. And a Wasteland. I think we're going to take the Mana Leak. Opponent is resolving their Sylvan Library. Did not keep any extra cards. Plays the Wasteland. They're not turning on their Treetop Village. They're just playing a Terravore. Okay. White mana? I mean, that's a City of Brass. We're going to go ahead and do this while we can. kill a Terragor, pass the turn, just be mana efficient because the City of Brass isn't going to stay around forever. Still not keeping any extra cards. Another Treetop Village. Plays out the Oath of Druids. Okay. And then what? Gonna wasteland the city? Yep. Wastelanding our City of Brass. So now I need some white mana. That is a Duress. We will take their last Sylvan Library. And we are in a waiting room to find white mana to take out this Treetop Village. Kept one extra card. Plays a Gemstone Mine. Turning on the Treetop Village, to be expected. Take a hit for 3. White mana? No, Vindicate. Alright, well, unfortunately we got punished for... Honestly, it wasn't even that greedy of a keep with a one-lander. Our opponent just had triple Wasteland. And we can just yield through the turn. There's no point in, like, trying to show we have anything here. Did not keep any extra cards on that one. And a Rishadan Port on top of it. Okay. They are tapping the Rishadan Port for mana, though. Hit black mana, that doesn't do anything for us. We'll pass the turn. They could swack with... They need one more land, but they could swack with both of these Treetop Villages here. We'll just F6 the turn. Mishra's Factory, so they could turn on both Treetop Villages now if they want to. Which it looks like that is what they're going to do here. Maybe? No. Okay, they're not going to bother. That's fine. Hit me for 3. Holding up a port to port down a black source, I'm assuming. Alright, and another Vindicate. And we're pretty much just deterministically dead here. A little unfortunate, but I mean, that's what Triple Wasteland can do in this format. Opponent's turning on the Mishra's Factory and a Treetop Village? Yes. And I can only kill one thing, and they have enough mana to activate both. I'm pretty sure I'm deterministically dead here. Especially with a third swamp. Okay, yeah, a little unfortunate. Got completely mana screwed out of that one, but we did manage to pick up a game, so alright, on to the next one. Lost the die roll. Alright, we got pretty steady mana. Turn 1 Duress, turn 2 Slayer, turn 3 Vindicate. I think we'll keep this. Force from the opponent. And a pass. Okay, so we're going to Duress them and see what the hell is going on over there. Into a Shared Triumph. Okay. Well, let's Duress the opponent, see what they're working with over there. Penumbra Worm. So there's some kind of green ramp deck. Got it. Well, Sylvan Library is the only take, so we'll take it and we'll pass. We can blow up the Wall of Roots. Plays a Forest. Plays the Wall of Roots. Passes the turn. We are going to go ahead and play a Caves of Koilos and play out a Dauthi Slayer. And ship the turn. Start going on the beatdown route. There's still quite a bit of mana away from this Penumbra Worm. However, it does replace itself, which is a little annoying. They drew a Karplusum Forest at some point into another Wall of Roots. Honestly, we might just blow up one of these Wall of Roots to stop them from getting up to their Penumbra Worm. So we can play a Plains, blow up a Wall of Roots, just keep them off of some of their mana, get in with the Slayer, pass the turn. And they do have a Masticore. Plays the Wooded Foothills. Are they going to play the Masticore? Costs 2 mana to regenerate it. And there is the Masticore. We're probably just going to blow that up and Duress them again, if we're being honest here. Another Dauthi Slayer. Well, we can play Caves of Koilos. Let's blow up the Masticore. Ooh, I forgot they had the mana to regenerate it. We will get in here. We will Duress the opponent here. That was a little bit of a punt on my part. Tinder Wall. Okay, so they're probably just going to play the Penumbra Worm next turn, and we're probably just going to end up dying. But they've got to sacrifice something, and they don't actually have the mana. They got rid of the Tinder Wall. They could kill the Dauthi Slayer, but that will take their whole turn to do that. Alright, opponent's paying some mana for something. Oh, sneak attack. Okay. That is not at all what I was expecting. I guess we will play a Slayer, play out a Triumph. This does make it so that it's going to take their whole turn to be able to deal with this. However, I'm pretty sure we're dead because they can sneak attack in their Penumbra Worm, get in with it, it dies, and it just replaces itself. So we're up against a sneak attack deck, which is interesting. We need another removal spell for the worm that comes out of this, but even then I think we're dead. Oh, they have to discard the Penumbra Worm? Or I guess they could sneak it in now? In response? No, okay, they sacrifice the Masticore. So they want to sneak the Penumbra Worm in. which makes sense. So we're not dead yet. We could find a removal spell for the token that this leaves. And even then, technically the token doesn't kill us. We hit a tainted field. That helps because that actually allows us to cast our Dauthi Slayer. And then we just gotta hope that they don't have anything to sneak in. Did they find a creature to sneak in to deal the last point of damage? They did not. Okay, we squeaked that one out by the skin of our teeth. Holy shit. Alright, against what our opponent's doing, I'm guessing they don't have much removal. And we're going to bring in Disenchants and Duress. Probably take out our aggressive elements here. And take out some number of Dauthi Slayers. Bring in our discard, our Disenchants, our Worship. Actually, I think we're better off taking out the Death Grasps than the Dauthi Slayers. Their creatures are going to be too big for us to kill with Death Grasp anyways. So let's try that. Okay, I like this hand. We can keep this for sure. It'd be nice if we had a swamp so it turned on this tainted field, but we're just going to go ahead and keep it for now. Birds of Paradise. Okay. That's fine. We don't really need to go after their ramp. We hit another plains. Let's play a tainted field. Try to high roll for a swamp next turn. Because we don't really need to kill anything that's on the battlefield at the moment. Mount from the opponent. Into a survival of the fittest. Okay. There's our swamp. We're good there. Play the Dauthi Slayer. And the next turn we can play another Slayer and hold up Swords to Plowshares. Chucking a Squee to the survival. Okay. To find a Wall of Roots. Okay. Like, our goal is to just get rid of their big creatures that they try to sneak in or ramp into. Another mountain. Into the Wall of Roots. Okay. Activating survival again. Chucking a Squee. That's fine. Like, none of these creatures are a threat at the moment. Our swords and our removal spells are saved for their threats. An Anger. Okay. I would not dislike a Disenchant right now. A Soltari Trooper. Well, we will go ahead and play another Slayer. And then we will move to combat, get in with our Slayer. I am sure they're going to chuck their Anger to go find another creature. Yep, chucking Anger. Gonna go find another creature. They are at a point where they can play and activate Sneak Attack, but we have a Swords to Plowshares for the first creature. However, because of Squee and Survival, they have a pretty much endless stream of threats until they just completely run out of them. Orcish Lumberjack. Okay, so they're going to try to ramp something out? Are they not on the Sneak Attack plan anymore? I'm actually pretty okay with that if that's the case. They only have one forest to sacrifice. Activating Survival, checking Squee again. Go find what? Another Wall of Roots. Playing the Wall of Roots, okay. And then playing the Orcish Lumberjack, okay. They still technically have 5 mana available to them. And it looks like they're passing the turn, which I'm A-okay with that. No, just getting in with Orcish Lumberjack, okay. I am A-okay with that. A Duress. So I think we're going to go ahead and play the Plains, play out a Soltari Champion, get our beats down, and then next turn we can play the Trooper plus Duress and still hold up Swords to Plowshares if we need it. And opponent is activating Survival to do something, chucking a Symbiotic Worm, okay. To find a Butcher Org, which I'm curious if they fixed the bug on this yet. So it looks like they're probably just casting this Butcher Org. We can take a hit for 6. I'm not super concerned about that. Alright, yeah, just playing the Butcher Org. I guess we're gonna see if this is still bugged or not. Alright, get in. Let's see if Butcher Org is in fact bugged still. Wait, what? Okay, interesting. So apparently it's not bugged. Chucking their Squee, okay. Grabs another Birds of Paradise. Plays another Birds of Paradise, okay. I'm a little confused what happened here. Last time I tried to play Butcher Org, it was bugged. Apparently it has been fixed. We hit a Case of Koilos. We are going to go ahead and Thoughtseize our opponent. They have a Natural Order. Do they have enough mana here? They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're one away from this Penumbra Worm. Well, we take the Natural Order. And then I think we go ahead and play out the Soldier. I'm a little, well, I guess I'm not confused in the sense that this did what it was supposed to do, it just wasn't bugged. So that was probably a punt on my part, but I think that's enough to be able to play this Penumbra Worm. Okay, we're just gonna go to the next one. I apparently should have plowed the Butcher Org, but I was trying to see if it was still bugged or not. Alright, so based off of what our opponent's doing, I don't think we actually want to change our sideboard at all. I think we still just keep everything the way it is and run it back. One lander, and it's not the color that we need on turn one. No lander, already mulligan at 5. This is rough to say the least. Alright, we got lands and spells. We'll keep this. Let's put back one. Let's just put back both of the emissaries for now. Play out Caves of Koilos, pass the turn. Tinderwall. We might go ahead and just swords this now to get it out of the way. Try to keep them off of some of the ramp. Alright, another Sultari Trooper. Just try to out aggro our opponent into a Sylvan Library, so they're going to get some card selection here. We're just going to try to out aggro them. I just kind of want to hit lands at this point. Okay, a swamp is nice. We are just going to try to out aggro our opponent as much as we can here. Force from the opponent after resolving their Sylvan Library triggers into a Survival of the Fittest. Okay. And we hit a Duress. Do we want to take a turn off to Duress them? I don't think we do. We're just still going to go aggro at this point, and we'll Duress them next turn. Chucking a Nantuko Vigilante to grab an Anger. Okay. Our opponent is on a 2-turn clock here, so I don't think they can get enough mana to sneak attack and put something into play this turn. However, if they drop a sneak attack, that is mildly annoying. Alright, opponent did not keep any extra cards off of their Sylvan Library. We can't do anything, so we'll just S6 through the turn. There's a Mountain. Survival of the Fittest, pitching Anger. I suppose if they Orcish Lumberjack, they can actually do the thing. That is an Orcish Lumberjack. Playing a Goblin thingy? Goblin Sharpshooter. Interesting. A Tainted Field. Let's Duress our opponent. We will take that. They have the mana to Deranged Hermit, though, so I think we're just dead. Because they can play the they can play the Orcish Lumberjack, play the Deranged Hermit, and all of their stuff has haste. So yeah, I think we're probably just dead here, unfortunately. Opponent did keep a card, but I don't think it particularly matters. They could also just play the Deranged Hermit. They don't even need to Orcish Lumberjack. Oh, they have a sneak attack. Even better. Sneaking in the Orcish Lumberjack. Chucking it to Survival of the Fittest. Do they have something that can one-shot me here? Into a Symbiotic Worm. Yeah, this pretty much one-shots me because they'll be able to hit me for 8 here, and then they're going to have 7, another 8. Yeah, this is pretty much lethal. Oh, they didn't get in with the Sharpshooter. Interesting. But they are killing the Sultari Champion. Yeah, we're just dead. It's fine. They can do this again. Kill the Sultari Champion. There is no one draw that gets us out of this. We do not have Engineered Plague in to get rid of these insect tokens. We'll see what our draw is. And it's a Caves of Koilos. Alright, let's see if we can get the final round. Final round, won the die roll. Let's see if we can get in this. Okay, I like this. We can go ahead and keep this. We are going to play Swamp, pass the turn. So, something that I have learned in my adventures learning Premodern is I absolutely fucking hate City of Brass. The trigger that it creates when you tap it sometimes freaks MTGO out and doesn't realize what you do directly after that. Okay, Curry and Ranger, so we're up against Elves. But it sometimes fucks with your mana and makes it so that MTGO doesn't realize when you're tapping lands again after City of Brass. And it results in some very bad misclicks that would not happen if you were playing in paper. We are going to go ahead and just get rid of this Curry and Ranger now. We're probably going to play the controlling route until our opponent kind of runs out of gas and mostly just rely on our removal spells and then eventually drop our Dothy Warlord. It also really sucks we don't have any other creatures to help pump this. A Llanowar Elves. So we could kill this Llanowar Elves, which is probably what we want to do. Just keep them off of mana at the moment. Into a Priest of Titania. Well, I definitely want to try to kill that. Elvish Spirit Guide and a Wirewood Symbiote. Okay, so they have some protection. We need a follow-up threat to this Dothy Warlord. Triple City of Brass is not exactly what I want in hand at the moment. Playing a morph face down. Interesting. I'm not sure what morphs are in Elves. Another land is not what we want to see here. Considering the fact that I've been complaining that this deck keeps mana screwing me, it has decided to show me in the final round that it wants some mana flood instead. Opponent's getting in with the Morph and the Priest of Titania. I'm guessing they're flipping this face up. It is a Tribal Force Mage. When it turns up... Okay, so it's kind of like a mini Craterhoof Behemoth. So we're going to take 6 here, but it's already turned it face up, so it's already done its thing. A Soltari Trooper, at least that increases our damage output on our Warlord. However, our opponent's kind of getting to do whatever the hell they want at this point. I'm just not bothering to play out this City of Brasses right now. We aren't that mana intensive. 4 mana. Are they going to bounce the mage? No, they're going to natural order. What can they hit off of this natural order? A Hermit Druid, okay. A Dothy Slayer. Okay, well, we're just trying to out-aggro our opponent, but currently they are out-aggroing us. An opponent decided to return the Hermit Druid so that they get more. That's going to be 8 of these at 2/2, but only 4 of them can attack. Actually, they don't have the mana to replay the Hermit Druid, so I actually take that back. Getting in with everything, okay. We're actually winning this race at the moment, amazingly. A Soltari Champion. We basically just have to survive one more turn and we can win. Can we survive a turn is the question. Alright, can we dodge a turn? I feel like our opponent should not have returned that Hermit Druid to their hand. Alright, managed to squeak out game 1. Our opponent was saying if they had one more land, it would have been a totally different game. I feel your pain, opponent. I truly do. We are bringing Engineered Plague for sure. I'm assuming they're not going to have removal, so I'm going to bring in Worship. Alright, so we're bringing in Worship because I'm assuming they're not going to have much for removal. Engineered Plague to kill their elves. What do we want to take out here? I think we're going to, again, take out some amount of aggressive elements and probably some Dothy Slayers. Or, actually, we might take out a couple of Duresses. Their only real hit for that's going to be natural order, so I don't think we necessarily need it. We actually might bring in the other Smother, take out the last Duress, and go. We're going to try something like this. I've been chatting with the opponent. They're testing out some new tech in their deck as well, and just being overall pleasant. So, Ryan, sorry if I butchered your name. If you see this, hopefully you enjoy it. Alright, so we've got Worship, we've got Dothy Warlord, we got a Vindicate. It's a little slow, but I think we're going to keep this. Again, I don't think they're going to have much removal. And forced into Findahorn Elves. Okay. Into a swamp. We will play the Tainted Field, pass the turn. We're just going to try to kind of work our way up the curve here. Play the Warlord on 2, Vindicate something important on 3. 2 mana into a Priest of Titania. Okay, how quickly am I going to die is going to be the question here. We hit an Engineered Plague. That's actually going to be insane. We might actually do that on 3. Play our Swamp to turn on our Tainted Field. Play a Dothy Warlord. And then pass the turn. Alright, so opponent could have 4 mana this turn, possibly more if they have a Gaia's Cradle. Into a Wirewood Symbiote, okay. As long as they don't play a Lord. Okay, another Priest of Titania. I'm actually super okay with that. They can tap Findahorn Elves to return it to tap Titania again, but they're not. So we're going to see how devastating is this Engineered Plague going to be. Into a City of Brass, play a Tainted Field, play Engineered Plague on Elf, and opponent is going to save they're going to save their Findahorn Elves to untap their Priest of Titania. Tapping it. Looks like our opponent clicked the wrong elf by accident. I think they wanted to save their Priest of Titania. Ooh, okay, so this was only a one-time board wipe. They're casting a Tranquil Domain in response to destroy my Engineered Plague. That is fine. That said, that means Worship isn't going to be a knockout here. So we will have to be cognizant of this enchantment removal for our worship. It is not just going to be game over. Windswept Teeth into a plains from the opponent. Replaying Findahorn Elves. Okay. I think I want to Vindicate the Wirewood Symbiote. We'll see what I draw here. Another Caves of a Caves of Coilos. I think we're just going to get rid of their Wirewood Symbiote. Take out their engine. Opponent is floating 3 mana. Okay, for a Biot? I've never seen this good before. Until the end of turn, players can't cast instant or sorcery spells. A player can't activate abilities that aren't mana abilities and draw a card. Well, luckily it already cast the Vindicate. So the Wirewood Symbiote still goes, but that essentially acts as a card draw. I apologize for hearing in the background. I do not know what she's losing her mind over. Brushland from the opponent into a Sylvan Library. Okay. Getting it with Findahorn Elves. 1 card in hand. We hit another Engineered Plague, so I think we're going to go ahead and play that. Get in with the Warlord. Just this anemic little 1/1 at the moment. And then we're going to play Caves of Coilos, and we are going to go ahead and play another Engineered Plague, wipe out their Findahorn Elves, and then we can play our Soltari Trooper, or Soltari Emissary, increase our clock a little bit, and opponent had a Source of Plowshares as their last card to take out the Emissary. Okay. So opponent actually does have quite a bit of removal, so this Worship really isn't going to be the knockout that I thought it would be. Alright, opponent did not keep any cards off of that. And we hit a Phyrexian Arena, so I think we're going to go ahead and play that out. Try to recoup some card draw here. Try to make this Warlord more than this anemic little 1/1. And pass the turn. And opponent has a Naturalize to kill the Phyrexian Arena. Okay. And plays out a Wirewood Symbiote, and kept an extra card as well. A Soltari Emissary. Well, we will play City of Brass. We will play the Emissary. And then we're just going to dump our hand. Get the Worship out. Just try to get our hooks in. And then we will attack with the Warlord. And just see if we can beat our opponent down before they find an answer for all of our stuff. And we can just F6 through the turn. We're not bluffing anything here. Did not keep any extra cards off the Sylvan Library. Another one of these Tranquil Domains will wipe out both of our enchantments. And opponent's just passing turn. Okay. We hit a Plains. Let's give this Shadow. Pump the Dothy Warlord. And allow it to attack. Alright. I had a feeling they had a Source of Plowshares based off how they were tapping mana. And they do. Still just attacking for 1. Got a nice little 9-turn clock. Did not keep any extra cards off of the Sylvan Library. 3 mana. To play a Morph, which is probably that flip elf that gives things +2/+2. Getting in with the Wirewood Symbiote. Okay. And we hit a Trooper, so let's play that. Pump our Warlord a little bit, increase our clock. Luckily, we're at a pretty healthy 20 life at this point. And they're at the point where they really cannot afford extra cards off of the Sylvan Library. Again, did not keep any extra cards, which is kind of to be expected. Played a Forest. Are they going to flip up their Morph? They are getting in with it. Can't block anything anyways. Not flipping up the Morph yet. Okay. And opponent's giving us the GG. Said they ain't got it. That misplay got them pretty good. And I understand. Tough luck, opponent. I've had the same thing all night. But yeah, we'll address this all in the wrap-up. So after testing this deck a bunch and through the recording, I see why this is not a common build of Deadguy Ale. It does have a decent amount of disruption, but not as much as you would see out of a traditional Deadguy Ale deck. And our creatures, a lot of the time, even though they're cheap and virtually unblockable, just get outscaled by what our opponents can do pretty easily if you don't have a critical mass of them, or you don't have your payoffs for them, such as Shared Triumph or Soltari Champion. Overall, it just felt like the deck really faltered if you couldn't get your creatures down early, or if your opponent just had a ton of removal, because you are relying on your creatures to close the game out, and they are all just relatively small. We also saw, especially in that Sligh matchup, that the mana base for this deck is extremely painful, and then add in something like Phyrexian Arena as well, and you very much need to keep your opponent from doing anything or just go way, way faster than them, or that life loss is going to get you in the end. There were a lot of games where we probably did more damage to ourselves than our opponent did and allowed them to close out the game pretty easy. It also felt like it didn't have quite as much hand disruption as some of the other versions of Deadguy Ale that I have seen, and relied more on being able to rely with onboard removal with Vindicate and Swords to Plowshares. So overall, I think if you wanted to play Deadguy Ale, if you care about your record, I definitely check out one of the more traditional lists. But the Soldier Shadow sub theme in this deck was pretty cool. It was nice that our creatures were virtually unblockable, but it did come up multiple times that our creatures couldn't block. So you are straight up racing your opponent or hoping that you can remove their creatures off of the board while you're getting in for these small chip shots if you don't just flood the board with the synergy that the deck can provide. The deck was an absolute blast. It was really cool seeing it highlight the shadow mechanic and a whole bunch of creatures that you really don't see very often. And I had to look up almost all of these creatures when I found the deck list to see what they were, because I didn't recognize any of them. But the deck was a ton of fun to play. I'd say maybe if you're going to like an FNM level thing, feel free to sleeve this up. But in a larger tournament, I cannot recommend this. The record was a little disappointing at 2-3, and it was even worse than that if I went through all of my testing as well. It was very easily like a sub 30% win rate, because all the other pre-modern decks that are out there that are meta decks are just doing much more powerful things than what this deck is trying to do. But anyways, that is Deadguy Ale for pre-modern. I hope you all had as much fun watching as I did playing. I'll catch you all in the next video. And as always, play any of the decks you see on this channel with a Mana Traders rental subscription. With a variety of tiers to fit any budget, Mana Traders lets you play whatever you want in whatever format you want. Use code DasSourKraut at checkout and become a better player today. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. They are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.